Hi race fans, I'm Elliot Camies and this is your NASCAR Car Updates Friday preview show. A show where myself and my co-host Dan will talk about the headlines coming out of Pocono and make our picks for the upcoming weekend at Indianapolis. First, however, I do need to get Dan in here, so Dan, welcome, how have you been? And what's your week been like?
Hey man, thank you as always for having me. Great time to be here. This was a fantastic weekend for myself. Took my father out to the SRX race and we got to see a hell of a show. We ended up getting infield tickets. We ended up basically just watching the cars the whole way around the track, and we're just turning around from like the square middle. Never had that experience, and that was a different perspective on the show. Beautiful time there, beautiful track, great racing. Happy as hell for Marco Andretti, man. It's great to see an Andretti get a championship in my lifetime, albeit a smaller racing event like SRX. But, oh boy, that Pocono race. Where do you even start with that? There was so much action on the track. But, God, that one hurts for us, man. We knew it. Picking Denny Hamlin for this was the right call. You and I made the right choice. We both knew in unison who the most likely winner was going to be. And he came through in the end. NASCAR saw differently, and that's an issue you and I are going to be tackling in just a little bit.
Okay, so the big story is Denny Hamlin and Kyle Busch were disqualified. The first time in 60 years this has happened. 60 years. But they were disqualified from the race at Pocono, first and second, given last place points. Chase Elliott was scored the winner. So what did you think of the initial announcement from NASCAR that Chase had been declared winner, and all they'd really say was it was the front fascia?
In a word, shocking. NASCAR came in hard with that penalty very quick. They saw something they didn't like and acted on it swiftly. At the end of the day, Gibbs didn't even try to appeal it. They just let it happen. That was rough. Hopping on my phone all of a sudden a couple hours after the race and being told, hey, Chase Elliott is your winner. That was so out of left field, I could not have even guessed that. Normally, when NASCAR is put in the situation, they dock the winner of the points or something along those lines, some financial decision. No. Stripped of the win all the way to the back. And it ended up being just a small piece of tape, 2 inches by 5 inches underneath the wrap on the front fascia. That is not completely out of line, though, with how NASCAR has been moderating this brand new car. They're insistent, look, here's the box. You take the parts out, you put them together, you make a NASCAR. You can add your own personal setup to it. Sure, fine, no problem. But you do not touch the car. That is the gold standard rule. And unfortunately, Gibbs touched the car. Albeit a very minor thing, at the end of the day, it is still an infraction. Gibbs saw it as such and did not try to appeal. I don't think anyone's ever seen anything like this in their lifetimes. That is astounding. What do you make of the situation, Elliot?
Yeah, so initially it was confusing. I wanted to know why they wouldn't elaborate further on what they found. All they said after the race was it was a front fascia, which it was confusing, but you know, NASCAR is NASCAR, they make the rules. As it went on through the week, you know, it's revealed, okay, it was a clear bit of tape, which essentially modified the nose of the car, which provided that extra downforce. Now, it was clever, but it was against the rules. You know, that NASCAR inspect these cars so heavily now that Ray Evenham and Jeff Gordon era, gone. I'm convinced the Jimmy Johnson, Chad Knaus era, gone. You can't get away with these things anymore. Which, unfortunately, Joe Gibbs Racing got caught out. I mean, Chase has been, you know, in inspection for the past 5 weeks now, so obviously, excuse me, obviously that they're going to be pretty happy with what they find. But no, I just think it's, the initial reaction was very confusing. And from what they were saying, it honestly could have boiled down to things like the cars going at 185 down the straights. You know, the Denny and Ross saga, which continued. It seems like a thing we're talking about weekly on this show. But do you think that the Ross Chastain and Denny Hamlin incidents, do you think they're even now, or does Denny still have more coming towards Ross?
Now, I'm going to be real with y'all. This is the part that I thought was going to be the biggest segment of the show. Boy, was I wrong. Yeah, Denny Hamlin finally got one back on Ross Chastain. But does this level the playing field? Does the incident with the front fascia putting Denny in the back change the perspective on the whole matter? I don't think so. I think that pretty much caps off the brunt of it, but it also sets a precedent for how Denny Hamlin plans to race Ross Chastain in the future. I honestly don't think that Denny is going to go out there headhunting anymore. You know that he's definitely just been keeping score, but it's getting close to playoff time. I don't think he's going to go out there and do anything stupid. He is too cool and level-headed for that. He basically sent his message. He sent it loud. He sent it clear. He told Ross, look, I'm done with this. I'm done with you. Ross took the high road, completely accepted his responsibility and fault in the matter. Fantastic show of character by Ross Chastain. Love to see it. But I think this is what we're going to see in the playoffs. Denny Hamlin is not going to give Ross an inch. He is not going to shove him into the wall, shunt him, move him, spin him, or anything hard like that. But when it comes down to hard racing, he is not going to give up a single centimeter of track. That's my opinion. Denny Hamlin's a grizzled veteran. He knows what he needs to do to win this race. I think he's going to just let cooler heads prevail and just try and get his first championship. Back on to you, sir. How do you feel about the Ross Chastain-Denny Hamlin incident, and where do you think it's going to go from here?
Yeah, Denny's still got at least one or two more going for Ross. I just think it's Ross Chastain's aggressiveness, as much as it's made him successful, it's putting a target on his back, and it's not just Denny Hamlin. I think the only incident that really warranted a response from anyone at Atlanta was the incident between himself and Denny Hamlin. That incident between Truex and him at Atlanta, I felt like that was a racing deal. You know, Truex tried to push him high, turn around. Yeah, that happened. But the thing is, he's involved in so many of these incidents, he's just not making friends. You know, it's making it very difficult because he's going to be in the playoffs in 6 weeks' time. In 6 weeks, we set out to crown the champion. Ross Chastain has zero help. Sorry, no, he has one person, his teammate. Out of 16 guys, the one person that's going to let you through is your teammate. And that's just the 16 that are in the playoffs. He's upset people that are out of the playoffs as well. Austin Dillon. I will say out of the playoffs for the moment. We don't know what's going to happen. A lot of back markers that have been upset by Chastain could really end his day. But I think Denny will be the main person to watch for whenever they're going to be racing near each other. And it's just going to be another one of those things that we talk about on here, is that this was coming. I would be doing an injustice if we didn't talk about the first career start for Ty Gibbs, obviously under a circumstance that nobody wanted. Kurt Busch should be back this weekend for Indianapolis. Has signed a playoff waiver. He will be eligible to compete should he qualify. What an impressive run for Ty Gibbs. The car wasn't made for him. Pedals weren't set, seat weren't set. You know, I just want your honest opinion on how well Ty ran. You could see he was uncomfortable in the car as the race started, but to come back for an 18th place, almost a top 15 as well. So that was just incredible to watch. So what did you think of Ty Gibbs' first start?
Oh yeah, Kurt had a hard hit at Pocono, man. Definitely scrambled the brain bucket real good. But yeah, he had to sit out a week. At least he's got a win to pretty much propel himself into the championship hunt. But yeah, on to Ty Gibbs. He looks good. He looks real good. I'm not a Ty Gibbs fan. I am not in his corner as much as some other folks. He's been given a lot of opportunity by his name, by his team, by his family. At the end of the day, though, he didn't squander it. He looked good. Stage 1, he held back, started to learn about the car, started to pick up some things. Okay, good. Stage 2, he started pushing forward a little bit, made a few impressive passes here and there against some real big names. Stage 3, he started moving up. He started to figure out these cars well. It's no longer a question of talent or can he handle it. He can handle it. I spoke to some folks who are adamantly against him, and they were incredibly impressed with what they saw. So was I. I honestly think Ty Gibbs is going to be a serious contender. He's going to have the backing. He's got the talent. Let's be sure this isn't just like a one-off event. He doesn't start falling back. I think he's going to do it. I think he's going to be a serious contender going forward. I love what I saw. But what did you think of him? How did you feel about watching Ty Gibbs get his first start in one of these new cars and his overall performance?
Yeah, I thought it was incredible by Ty. Just, he found out he'd be racing that car late at night after the Xfinity race, already beaten up after an incredible finish with Noah Gragson. Yeah, it was just so fun to watch. He's a very talented driver. No doubt he'll be in the Cup Series. He's matured a hell of a lot since he started Xfinity. You could tell in his media, in the way he drives. I thought it was a very smart day for Ty Gibbs. Kept quiet, didn't make any enemies. Did everything right, everything he needed to show, okay, I can be a Cup candidate in the future. I wouldn't say no to him going to Petty GMS, but I think Noah Gragson is already heavily rumoured. But obviously that is, I think he needs another year in Xfinity, is my personal opinion. But to see him actually make that starting Cup, I think he's going to have a lot more eyes on him in the coming future. Okay, well, it is that time where myself and Dan make our picks for the upcoming race weekend. This weekend we are going to Indianapolis, the famed Brickyard. We are taking on the road course this year. So, we both picked Denny Hamlin for Pocono. We thought it went well. Thank God for the underdogs. Mine won. So, I'll take the first pick and I will go for defending race winner AJ Allmendinger. I think Allmendinger's got the speed to do it. He shows up in every road course. Remember Sonoma, no power steering, made his way to the top 10 before a mistake. In the closing laps, gave him a top 20 finish. At Circuit of the Americas, he was there at the very end. Road America had an incredible race. He is one of the better drivers. I'd say one of the best, but the better drivers in the grid. But on road courses, he's an ace. He knows what he's doing. He knows how to get in a rhythm. He was made for this circuit. And last year, I'll just throw this little stat in there. He won. He won the race in Corley's equipment, a part-time team. So that was an incredible finish. It put AJ back on the map with his second career win. And I think he's got a solid chance to get his third this weekend. But now over to you. Who do you think will win this year's Brickyard Road Course?
Oh, you won the underdog picks. Ooh, last I checked, man, we both tied this past weekend, so I don't want to hear about that. But on to our picks. Indy Road Course. Where do you even start with this track? This track is new. This track is a nightmare and a half. This is a very difficult place to even try to gauge anything and everything that's going to happen. So I think for here, you got to look into the more recent history. You got to start taking out of the equation some of the more recent years in NASCAR, and you got to focus on what you're seeing this year for this track, considering it's a road course, brand new car, and a lot of new talent. My money is going to be on the number 99 of Daniel Suarez. This is more of a gut feeling pick here, but watching him over at Sonoma put on a master class performance up front for the bulk of the race and really dominating when he finally got there. holding off a hard-charging Chris Buescher and Michael McDowell. That was a fantastic performance he put on. I think he's really understanding these road courses now. Trackhouse is finally getting everything all together at every single style of track on the entire calendar for this season. Daniel Suarez is my pick for this weekend. I think he's going to do it. I think at the very least he's going to be running top 5 for the bulk of the race.
Okay, well, it is unfortunately that time to end the video. Dan, thank you so much for joining me.
Hey, thank you as always for having me, Elliot. Always a pleasure to be here on the show with you. Anybody following at home, please, I would love to hear from you. Go ahead and message us down below in the comments. Let us know how wrong I am, how right he is. Follow me down at Twitter at CupDatesDan. I'm trying to be a lot more active on there as often as I can. Haven't had as much luck with it yet, but it's coming around. I guarantee that. I'm going to try and be as active as possible on race days. So look out for some comments on there. Give us a follow if you like. Love to hear from all of you. Thank you so much for your time. Elliot, thank you. And everyone else, y'all have a good night now.
Make sure you check out the Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube channels. And make sure you tune in every Friday night to the Outcast Racing League. This week will be the end of the regular season before we hit playoff season, so make sure you don't miss that. As for now, I've been Elliot Camis. Thank you so much for watching, and goodbye.